Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? I used to pray for times like this.
You are tuned into the Neesh Speaks podcast, where I am Maserati Niche, and I am giving you financial gains so that you can obtain financial gains. And actually, I wanted to talk to y'all today about my entrepreneurship journey, being a serial entrepreneur and what that looks like, and the things, the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. I want to share with you. I'm so happy to see that there are more Black and brown people that are taking an interest into entrepreneurship. It actually makes my heart smile. And there's this strong desire to be an entrepreneur. And it's a good time to be an entrepreneur. One of the benefits of entrepreneurship is, well, there are several benefits, but one of the benefits that I love about entrepreneurship is I have created structure within my business. I have created a system that allows me not to be so hands-on at this point in my career. And that's ultimately where you want to get to. You want to get to a point where you create a system that is so easy to duplicate and to replicate, and easy for somebody else to come along and you can say, hey, this is what the system looks like. This is how it should be ran, and this is how you do it. And somebody else can take it from there and run your business for you, which will allow you not to be so hands-on. Entrepreneurship, I see a lot of Black-owned businesses, and I see a lot of business owners get caught up into, this is my baby. This is my baby. I have to oversee the manager that I hired. I have to oversee the accountant. I have to oversee this. I have to oversee that. And you become so involved to the point where you don't get to breathe. And you stay in that space. The goal is not to consistently be so hands-on with everything. You want to free yourself from those daily obligations and commitments where you can then step back and begin to invest in other things. You want to diversify your portfolio. You don't want to just say, okay, I'm Ranisha, I own Credit Medics, and that's it. You want to get into some real estate investments. You want to invest in some stocks. You may want to be a silent investor financially in other businesses. But if you are so engulfed in your daily operations and overseeing this and overseeing that, how will you have the time to begin to invest in other things? So I have been blessed to figure that out. Not only have I been blessed to figure that, and it was very hard for me, guys. It was very hard for me to step back and feel comfortable with letting somebody else run something. So you got to make sure that you hire the right person. One, that you can trust. Two, that you feel comfortable with, because at the end of the day, this is your baby, and you're sharing all of your secret sauce with this person that you feel like you can trust. And you're saying, hey, this is the blueprint, this is that, this is that. And you're trusting that they're going to run your business effectively. You're trusting that they're going to deliver good customer service, and that they're going to represent your business to your liking. So that took a lot for me to do that. But the moment I did that, I was able to step back and then begin to invest in other things. And that's what we want to do. So at this point, I own multiple businesses. It's not as stressful as one would think it is, because I'm not so hands-on. I delegate responsibilities to my staff. One of the things we do to maintain good customer service, one of the things we do to maintain a good reputation, is we have staff meetings. We have one mandatory mastermind meeting a month. And then if I want to introduce a new product, or if I want to do a promo, some sort of marketing promo, or if I just feel like one of my staff is not thriving at their 100% potential, then we'll have like an emergency meeting. But all of this stuff is important in your entrepreneurship journey, to know these things. What else about entrepreneurship? Do we have any questions? Questions? Another thing about entrepreneurship, when you first start to build your brand, it is going to require so much of you. And each time that you begin to level up in your business, you want to go to another level. For instance, I just moved into a bigger location. This location is triple the amount of overhead that I am used to. But now that I know that there's going to be more of a financial obligation from me each month, I have to make that make sense. So how can I make that make sense? One of the ways that I can make that make sense is now I have larger space to do classes. So the classes that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be offering a lot of free classes to the community, but I'm also going to be offering some paid classes. And those paid classes are going to offset the rent that I was used to paying, because now I'm able to introduce another streamline of income. You have to understand that within that one business, you should be able to create multiple streamlines of income within that one business. So within Creditnetics, I have so many different entities. I have affiliation programs. I have different services that allows me to connect with other people that I partner with. And I'm able to receive, different sponsorships from them and different things like that. So I've created multiple streamlines of income within this one business. So you have to learn how to do that or figure that out. So if you own a restaurant, you can say, okay, well, of course you're going to sell food, but you may have a special sauce that you like to use. You introduce that special sauce and you begin to sell that. That's another streamline of income. Maybe you have, you just sell food, but you haven't gotten into desserts yet. Maybe you hook up with a vendor where now you're introducing their product into the restaurant and you get a specific percentage off of the sales. So there are several different ways that you can implement multiple streamlines of income within your business.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the first step in making your business official?
What is the first step in making your business official? So the very first step is, I've seen a lot of this too. I've seen a lot of business owners have a business for years. You may be in business for years, but you've never legitimately filed to set up your business entity. You didn't file a sole proprietorship. You didn't file for LLC. You didn't file for a corporation. So your business is not registered with the Secretary of State. And if your business is not registered, the banks are not going to take you serious. You can't say, hey, I've been running this business for 5 to 10 years, but it's actually not a business because I never registered it with the state. When you go to apply for business credit at a bank, they will look on that website and put a search in for your business to see if your business is a legitimate business. You also need to have a EIN established. That is your employee identification number. That is how the government takes you serious. That is how you're going to pay taxes on the revenue that is generated from your business. That is your employee identification number. Also, your employee identification number could be used as a social for your business as you begin to build net 30 accounts and different things like that. So it's very important for you to do that. For one, you have to file taxes on your business. If you don't have an EIN number, how are you going to file taxes? You can't, and you're going to be in big trouble. So you need to have your business entity filed. So let's say hypothetically you decide to go with the LLC. You need to have that. You need to have your EIN. You also want to have an operating agreement. Most banks didn't used to ask for operating agreements, but I'm starting to see that more and more and more with my personal clients as I send them to my lenders. They want operating agreements. So what is an operating agreement? Just basically breaks down the operations of the business. The ownership, the percentages. If you have partners, that will be documented on the operating agreement. Also, what the business does, the percentages of the business, and the daily operations of the business, and your plans with the business. So they want to see that now. So when you go to open up a business checking account, they may say, hey, we need your EIN, your LLC, and an operating agreement. Another thing that you want to have if you plan on building net 30 accounts. So let's get into that too, because a lot of clients and a lot of potential clients call the office and they like, I want to build business credit. And I want to build business credit. I don't want my name to be attached to it. And I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't want to be the personal guarantor. What is a personal guarantor? Every bank that you go to in 2020 wants or requires you to be a personal guarantor. A personal guarantor is basically you co-signing for your actual business. So when you go to the banks, with you being a personal guarantor, your credit is going to need to be pulled. And the banks have specific credit score requirements that they require the PG to have in order to qualify for the funding that they're applying for. Whether if it's a business credit card or it's a business line of credit or it's a business loan, you need to qualify in terms of your credit score. Now, it used to be a minimum of a 680 credit score, but that has changed now because of COVID. So now, 3 out of 5 of my banks want you to have a 700 credit score. So they enhance the credit score from a 680 to 700. If you have the credit score, you then qualify to be a PG on your business, for your business. So you're basically saying, hey, Bank of America, hey, Citizens, hey, BB&T, if my business cannot afford to pay this debt back, now I am going to be personally responsible for paying this debt back, which means they can sue you at that point. They can put it on your credit as a delinquent account. And now the bank is going to come after you personally. So at that point, if they can't retrieve the debt from the actual business, now they're going to come after you personally because you opted to be a personal guarantor. Now, if your LLC is not mature enough, most banks will want your LLC to be at least 2 years of maturity before they will take the risk to give you a business line of credit, to give you a credit card, or to give you a business loan. They'll say, hey, your business isn't old enough yet. Come back and see us in 2 years. If the business isn't 2 years of age, there are some banks that will actually qualify you for a business credit card with a premature business, meaning your business isn't 2 years of age yet. Then there are banks that will actually approve you or qualify you for a business line of credit, a business credit card, and a business loan if your business is 2 years of age, okay? So now I tell most of my clients that's when it's game time. It's game time when your business has reached that 2-year anniversary and now you are qualified because you have, your credit scores are good, you're over 700, you have a seasoned LLC that's 2 years of age, you have your EIN number, and you go to the bank and you tell them you want a business line of credit because the business is old enough for you to qualify for that. And you tell them while you're there, I want a business credit card. So those programs are available, and those programs are available without verifying the business income, okay? That's called a no-doc program. You have to do your research because you got to know which banks offer that program. Not all of the banks offer the no-doc program. But that is a way to benefit from you having a business. And then this SBA stuff, there was so much funds that were available to business owners if you had your credentials, if you had what you needed in order to qualify for these SBA loans. And these SBA loans, Donald Trump made it whereas though the interest rates were very low. Not only were the interest rates low, he also, and the SBA EDIL loan, which is one of them, was a no-doc program also. They didn't ask for verification of revenue. So that's called a no-doc loan, where they don't ask for verification. But they went to that website that I just told you about to see if your business was legitimate and it existed. They also went to make sure that you had an EIN too, for tax purposes. So you definitely want to make sure that your business is structured right. You want to make sure that you have all of the credentials that you need to take advantage of your credit and leveraging that. And the one thing that I really, really love about business credit, even if you are going to be the personal guarantor, one of the things that I really love is you want to make sure that you are applying for business credit that does not report on the personal side. So you want to make sure that you have business credit cards and business lines of credit, business loans that never reports to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion on the personal side. So that way, when you begin to utilize those lines of credit, your personal scores will never change. They will never fluctuate because your utilization will never be impacted because those particular accounts do not show up on that side. So you want to make sure that you're applying for business credit that does not report on both sides. So one of the things that I stand highly on and I always preach is by you obtaining business credit, you're able to leverage that. You're able to use it to do other things, and your personal credit scores will not be impacted. So that is the sole purpose of business credit for me, in my opinion, in order to leverage that to take your existing business to the next level and to do other investing with that particular capital. It allows you to gain capital. The capital that you're going to borrow is not going to show up on a personal side, so it will not impact your personal credit, and you can leverage that and do other things, and that's when you are winning.
Should I go for all of my business credit lines at the same time?
Should I go for all of my business credit lines at the same time? So I don't know if you guys ever noticed when you go shopping for a car, a lot of the times when you're shopping for a car, the dealership will run your credit 1,000,000 times because their goal is to sell you that car. Their goal is to sell you that car and get you the financing that you need. And they're not going to stop. So when they do that, they will submit that one application to several different banks. And all of those banks are going to pull your credit. They're going to inquire about you. That's going to be a hard inquiry. So a lot of times, those inquiries don't post to the following day. One of the things you need to know about business credit or business funding is they will not lend to you if you have too many inquiries within a short amount of time. So if you're going to this bank this week and this bank that week and this bank the next week and this bank, now you have acquired 4 hard inquiries or 5 hard inquiries within a 1-month time frame, which doesn't look good. But if you do it all in one day, they won't be able to see physically that you have been shopping around for credit. When you shop around for credit, you look desperate sometimes. And nobody wants to lend to a desperate lender. Do we have any more questions? No more questions?
Well, I got a question. What's
Yes.
the difference between a 700 credit score and an 800 credit score?
So what's the difference between the 700 credit score and the 800 credit score? Credit scores are basically, there are tiers within your overall credit score. So we know that the lowest score is a 350, highest score is an 850. So based off of, let's say maybe from a 350 to a 450, you're in tier 1. From a 450 to a 550, that's 2. From a 550 to a 650, that's 3. From a 650 to 7, that's 4. So depending on what tier you fall under within your particular credit score, that will determine the interest rate. So your interest rate may be 3%, right, at a 700. But at a 800, your interest rate may be 2.5. So if the interest rate fluctuates based off of the tiers that you're in, based off of your credit score, we know that the payments are going to fluctuate because the interest rate is going to be different. So that's why it's important to always aim for the 800s. I had somebody contact my office about a trade line because she was saying that her scores was a 700, but if she could just get to a 735, then her interest rate was going to change by 1%. And that would drastically affect her mortgage payment. So she was like, I just want to, get from that 700 to that 735 so that the interest rate could change for me. So that's the benefit of, a 700 versus an 800 or a 350 versus a 700. The interest rates are going to be different. So with that being said, I'm always giving y'all what? Financial free. Let's not forget the free part. I'm always giving y'all free financial game so that you can obtain financial gains. I'm Maserati Neesh. I need you to continue to support the Neesh Speaks podcast. I'm also on iTunes. I'm also on Spotify. And you can find us right here on YouTube. I'm loving on y'all 100%. I'm going to keep dropping these gems on y'all. Continue to follow. Continue to support. Maserati Neesh. Loving on you.